Okay, so I have started recording this call. Welcome everyone to Gatsugisi. We are ready to get started on our next workshop with Victoria Okpik, who is an Inuk from Nunavik, now residing in Montreal, former lead designer designer of the former Nunavik creations, and currently designer and entrepreneur of her own Inuit fashion icon, Victoria Okpik. So we're really, really glad to have you here with us this evening. We've got an hour together, and we're just going to get a few tips and tricks from the wonderful Victoria. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Victoria, to introduce yourself and get us started.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I got suddenly nervous.
That's okay. All your friends are on the line.
Okay. Thanks for joining. I hope everyone's okay. We're going to start with the fur cutting first. So everybody has fur and I have my fox fur. I'm going to show you. There's been some of it cut off, but I'm going to start from this. So what it is, when you're starting a fur, to cut a fur from to make it for parka, you have to, well, the head is wait, let me see. The head was from the head was on top here, so the fur goes down. And what I usually do for beginning, from the start, I make it like go half like this, like fold it in half, and I make a mark in the middle so that I'll know where the middle part is. If you don't understand and if you have questions, let me know.
Victoria, I've asked everybody to, if they want to ask a question while you're talking, that they can put it in the space bar and in the chat, which is on this. Everyone can open the chat on the bottom of your screen. It should pop up on the side, and then if anyone has questions, I'll ask you. People are also welcome to jump in and ask themselves, and if anyone wants to ask in Inuktitut, they can do that too.
Okay, good.
Great.
So what we did, huh?
Una nuila sta perigero bir taunu ngale mga kitinga go titiriale o balone
what I do, when I put it halfway, I just mark in the middle 1 and 1, 2. And what I do is I use my ruler, a big ruler like this.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I just mark it all the way, like make a line. All the way down. And usually I start from the head. I don't usually start at the bottom, but from the top, from the head. Okay, no, from the bottom. I usually start from the bottom, like if it was the head on top here. So I start at the bottom of the fur, you know. Okay, and then when I'm at the, like, Dana was the where the bum was, okay. So I usually make it like mark the width I want. Let's say for my furs, I make it like 9 centimeters. I work in centimeters, so I hope you'll know. I never hardly work in inches, so I use centimeters. When it's 9 centimeter, is about 3.5 inches. That's usually my width. First, when I'm gonna make it, I will use the parka I'm making right now. With my parka, I measure from the middle. I measure it like half of the fur. So let's say from the head top to the bottom where where it's gonna go on your neck, I measure that part, and I use my tape like this. Well, usually from my patterns, I measure it like, I can know like with my patterns what the measurement will be for my hood. Let's say this hood is from the top. This one is, the length is 32.5 centimeters. So I usually add, let's say up to 38 centimeters, okay? To make it a bit longer than the hood. You can make it the length that you want. So, it's really hot in my, I'm hot. So 38 centimeters, I set 38 centimeters for this hood. So with the mark I made here, from the butt part, I measure 38 centimeters and I make a mark. Are you guys following? Yeah. Okay, good. So my furs usually are like, I find 9 centimeters width is a good amount of, we Inuit like to put a lot of fur. So I find 9 centimeters is good. We're not very cheap when it comes to fur. We're very generous. So from the mark that you made all the way down, you make the mark 38 centimeters for the length, and then I mark it on both sides 9 centimeters. The width is going to be, and then at the bottom I do the same thing, because right now I'm making the same width at the bottom and top. 9. Sometimes some people make it less wider than the top, but I do it this way. And I mark it all the way down, 9 centimeters wide. Bear with me if you don't understand. You can ask questions.
A total of 10 centimeters, like 9 in each direction from the center, or 4.5 in each direction from the center?
So how can I show it? How can I show you better? So what I did, from the middle of the fur, I made a line all the way down, and then I mark where the 38 centimeter is at the bottom, and then I made a line across 9 centimeter each.
So it's a total of 18 centimeters wide. When you fold it in half, it's 9 centimeters.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Juana.
But also on the top, same thing. And then I connect those 2 lines with my ruler all the way down. So they're all connected, measured. And so after that, after I...
Can you hold it up at each step, Vicki, so we can see?
Okay. Can you see?
Yep.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to...
Are you on a computer or a laptop? Can you tilt your screen down?
Okay. I'm on my laptop. So
Okay.
here, this is the middle, okay? Here. So when it's, I made the line all here in the center of the fur, okay? Center of the fur all the way down. And then 9 centimeter is from the center to the left side, and then 9 centimeter to the right side. Same on the bottom where the length will end. And then I cut the fur all the way down with my fur cutter like this. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you can use your ulu or X-Acto knife. Then I cut it all on the center all the way down. So once I cut it all the way down, well, I'm gonna cut it to the length that I had marked. No, I'm gonna cut it all the way down. I'm
What do you do with the extra couple of centimeters that you're adding on it? Does it just make it easier to turn in, or does it hang down?
You don't really, maybe some people make their fur end to the right to the edge, but I add a little bit of fur at the bottom.
Perfect.
Like usually minimum or the regular that I put extra is usually about 4 to 5 centimeters on each side. Let's say the length was 32.5, so I added 5 centimeters to this one. So I cut it all the way down on both sides as well, and I cut the whole thing. I'm gonna show you once you have cut it, so what you're going to do is connect from the bottom part of the fur, not from the head. Okay, so that's where you connect this with the fur, and it's gonna go on top of your parka. When you do that, it's better like to have it connected at the bottom. If you connect it the other way, the fur is gonna look like it has a parting on top, like, you know, the huppinak in Inuktitut, but in English, like parting in your, like, you don't want it to look like it's going down like hair, you know. So what I usually do is connect it from the top, sew it with my fur machine, but if you don't have any, you sew it by hand, regular stitch. I just sew it on top like that all the way. And then I'll show you my next step on that one. This is the one that I kind of finished. Can you see it? I don't see it well. I don't know if my computer is.
If you move it a little bit slower, the resolution is better.
Okay,
Yeah,
like,
because it kind of goes out of focus and then it comes back in. Yeah, that's great.
okay. So this one has been cut. This is the middle part of the, where I connected the two top.
So you cut it in half and then you sew the butt to the,
Sew it together. Sew
Yeah.
it together at the bottom of the fur,
right.
not the top where the bum was. Okay. So this one is connected, and usually for my fur, I put tape all around so that I can sew a fabric to cover it, to make a covering. So I sew it all around with the fabric, the same width, same length as the fur. I use the fabric I use for Parkas, like Commander, the same color as what I'm making for the fur. You can, sometimes people don't cover their fur, but I make my lining for my fur because I sell my Parkas. I don't want to sell them without a lining on it.
I find if you have a lining on, it helps it not curl in the fur.
Mhm.
Like if there's a lining on the back.
Yeah. And usually when it's silver fox is more, this one was, this fur is blue fox, which is really a thick fur. So it's okay for this one. But when it's silver fox, which is more fine hair and they're longer, there's not much, there's less, it's less bushy than the blue fox. I usually put this inside my lining. It's a pilon. It's called pilon. It's like kind of a felt material. I put it inside my lining to be put inside before I close the lining of the fur. It makes it thicker looking when it's silver fox.
So does that mean you have like 3 layers? Like you have fur, then you do the pilon, and then you do the commander lining? And do you attach the lining and the pilon together?
Yeah.
On, let's say, you do 2 fabric sides together, and then attach it to the fur using that tape?
Yes. What I do is, like, I'll try to show you. When it's, before I close it, when I have sewn half of it all around up to the length that it's going to be extra, I sew it all around, all on the edge. And then when I'm closing it, like this, when I close it, okay, the pilon goes inside before you close stitch it.
Oh, I thought you meant that you attach the pilon to the lining fabric, but you're not sewing it in. Is that correct?
It's I'm just going to lay it here, all the way, like you make it to the same length as your fur. This is not really necessary for, I don't usually put it on my blue foxes, but I put it on my silver fox to make it, if my silver fox is very fine, that is, like if it's very thin looking, then I put it.
But it's not sewn in. It's something that you add in afterwards.
Yeah, I add it afterwards, and then I close my lining where I'm going to attach to the parka. Does it make sense? Hold on, I'm really hot. This light is making it hotter. Hanoklo, what else do you need to know about the fur?
Apa ka lang
Yeah.
na lining. Kano? Nuilang ano mersulerovio.
Yeah.
Around the edge. Tas mo nga say na mersoke o balon ni your lining takusaw tikain nako.
Okay. You want me to show it opened?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So what I did is, this is the fur part. And there is all around it, I put a tape so that I can sew my, I use the tape, I put it on with the fur machine. The tape is, I ran out. I have to get more and the stores are closed. It's just like about, what's the length of it?
Is it called twill tape? Is that what that is? I think it's called twill tape.
Yeah, it's about 1.2 centimeter wide. This black tape. So when I'm closing the lining, I sew it all around on the edge with the fabric, the lining, all the way down. And I leave opening so that I can turn it where the section of where the section like here where I'm going to be sewing that part. First, I close it with a, I close it first with my sewing machine. About 1 centimeter all the way down, you sew it 1 centimeter. So when it's closed like that, you leave that part of a fabric 1 centimeter, because I'm going to use that part of the fabric to connect it to my fur, my parka.
So tana nuila lata merso pangete kulitaw yamo kisiani te na kulitaw yasa.
Kulitaw yasuna. Sorry.
You mean nasangana?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, this part where I sewed 1 centimeter for closing out, when I have closed the whole thing, up to 5 centimeter at both ends of the fur, where the extra piece, I mean extra length that I added from the measurement. Take all around from the 5 centimeter. Then after that, I close it, and then I put the extra fab. I mean I close it with my sewing machine 1 centimeter all the way down. Then that part where you sewed, you're going to connect that part to your parka. I mean sew it to your parka. That's my connect to the parka.
The extra material.
Yeah.
So you're not actually sewing the fur, you're sewing the material to the parka.
Yes. I usually sew my parka with my sewing machine. I don't hand stitch it. If I'm doing it, sometimes when I'm in a rush and I have to do it like so now, let's say for my thing, or like ilangan ni, I just do it without a lining for me sometimes, but I do it this way for my parkas that I'm doing for the ones that I'm selling, because I have to do it properly.
Vicky, if you're not doing a lining, would you still add the tape?
No,
You would just sew. Then you would sew the fur straight to the parka.
directly to the parka.
In the comments,
when I do that, because when you're not putting on lining, you don't want to see the hair. I mean, the end of your thing. So what I usually do is fold it and so hand stitch it so that it doesn't show. So that the fur will look like, I mean, it'll be about one centimeter. I just sew it across so that you won't see the raw edge. You know? So that's what I do for the fur, and then I just sew it. Okay. Hi.
Sulitin na tuki sa katangin ako. Hi. Then matulog tugo. Tema inside ako tikabyo nuilasa. 1 centimeter kanu milsusuri kabyo ila from the fur 1 centimeter or from the end of the material.
From the edge of the material, 1 centimeter.
Oh, okay.
That means like here, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see there is a 1 centimeter piece from the tape that is free from the
okay.
So that's where I connect it, not on the fur, but tape onto the lining. That's where I sew it.
Okay.
Okay.
Jessica has a question too.
I just have another question. Before we can stop off the cutting of the fur part, it seems very rectangular. It's like one big long rectangle when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah.
So, but I find that when I've done rectangles around my fur, I find it buckles a little bit around the curved parts. Do you like cut it maybe, do you think like maybe cutting it at an angle a bit or giving it a bit more ease, or when you're attaching it on, do you gather it a little bit like to stop? Because when you go around your face, right, there's a curve, right, to get to the chin. Yeah. So this rectangle, if it's just one big wide rectangle, I find that it'll be really like, it kind of creases or buckles a little bit right at the sort of cheek mark. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you find that? Like, how do you suggest that?
When it's all sewn, like this one is sewn to the parka.
Yeah.
I sewed it with a sewing machine all around from the center of the fur, from the center of the parka. I sew it both sides. So when it's all done, I don't really find mine doesn't really, I don't have any buckle. Maybe some furs too, I don't know. When they're too soft, I don't know. What I do is I tack my fur in the middle. Mm-hmm. I tack it also like from the bottom and then in the middle.
Like a temple and like chin kind of?
Yeah, from the top here and at the end, almost at the end. I don't have my fur doesn't have a buckle, sorry.
Okay, all right.
I think it depends on how much of a curve there is on the hood too. There's too much of a curve, then it's gonna buckle. So it's the pattern, I think.
Wouldn't the width of it also make a difference too?
To do what? Sorry.
Stopping the curve when, like that lady was saying, hers curves, if it's too narrow, wouldn't that cause the buckling?
Well, you can do it the way you think it's going to work best, but this is just the way I do it. I do it straight on, like just cut straight. When I was with Nunavik Creations, we were doing our fur a little bit different. Everybody has their own way, but this one works for me, so I do it this way. The way we did it with Nunavik Creations when I worked there, we how did we it was a bit curvy, but for me, I find this way straightforward is better for me, so I do it. This is just my way.
Victoria, someone on the chat is asking if there's a fur direction when you're picking which side you actually sew to the hood. Does it matter if it's sort of upside down or right side up?
When I cut my fur,
yeah,
let's say this one was, like I said, from the bum part, you connect them on the bum part of the fur.
No, not the which part you connect, but then like the top or the bottom line, like the part that actually gets sewn onto the hood.
Oh, okay.
Does that matter, or could it be either way?
I usually, when I cut it in the middle, I know that the one, which side was the center. That's where I'm going to sew that part to the fabric, the parka.
Okay.
So that, because it's the center of the fur is more full, you know, it has more, it has, what's the word? It's more thicker than the back. The back is usually less furry. So I put that part in the back of the parka.
Okay.
And where the center was is the most hair dense. Is more dense. That's where I put that part to my parka.
Great. So you don't,
where I sew it.
When you make a center line, you then go all the way above it. You don't put that right in the middle. That becomes your sort of bottom edge. Is that right?
Sorry, say it again.
When you so when you made that first center line,
yeah,
it went up from that. You didn't go like equally above and below it, or you did?
No, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
The center is where the length, let's say this one was 37 centimeters.
But I mean, like when you're cutting the long strip.
Yeah.
That's from the middle of the back and then up, is what you're saying, right? Do you know what I could draw draw a picture.
Maybe I should have drawn something before.
I actually did draw a picture. I don't know if you can see.
Okay, yeah. Does that make
way.
Sense? Yes.
So the head of the fox was up here.
The head was
bum
there.
And the tail.
Yeah, that's where you the bottom where the bum is. That's where you connect the two, and it becomes a long one. That becomes your center, and then on that where the middle center, that's where you connect it to the parka.
So when you cut it out, it's going to be two long rectangles, and then this is the part that's going to go to the parka, and then this part's going to go towards the back of the head.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
No, this is good. Thank you.
I think though, Heather.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if I understood your remark or not, but from what it sounded like, the question that you were asking is, did Vicky do the 3.5 inches from either side of the center line?
Yes.
And she, but my understanding is that she did. And then once those two 38-centimeter strips are cut, then she joins them at the butt edge.
Right.
So yeah.
So the two butts, because that both of those edges become the one thick edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. Hanuklu, any more questions?
Apiriga sukata pala fur up or fur down direction nga misano. Apiriga sutuya kata.
Okay. The direction of my fur, like when it's all sewn together, because we started from the bottom of the fur, that's where the bottom bum is. And the fur is going up. It's not going down. If it's going down, it would have a crease here, like a huppinik, like a parting. So it would look kind of odd or funny, you know?
It frames the face really well. I find that when the fur goes up, it comes and it frames and it captures the face really well. So that's why I always.
Yeah. So. Hanuklu?
We have about 20 minutes left. If you want to stick to the time frame, just to check.
Okay. So what we can do now is, do you want to do the pom-poms?
Does everyone feel like they're clear on that whole tutorial? Are we good? Or does anyone have any last questions about attaching the fur to the hood?
I have a question.
Okay.
Once we have the two strips sewed together, when you're attaching it to the parka, you can either have where you drew the line in the center facing the outside of the parka or the edge of the hood. Is there any direction where we should be attaching it to the parka? Like, I think if we take the center cut,
yeah,
and attach that to the hood, or do we do the other side of the 3.5 centimeters?
When I'm attaching the fur to the parka, I start from the top, halfway, so that I'm doing it equally on both sides. Was that your question?
Okay. Where we cut down the center, sorry, my camera for some reason can't go on. I don't think you can see me.
I see
but
your
where we cut in the center. Huh?
I see your photo.
Oh, okay. So where we cut down the center, is that the side that we stitch to the parka, or do we do the outer edge?
No,
the other side.
No, you do that. You connect from the center where you cut it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. My light is, I'm trying to see how, is that better? Okay. Any more questions on the fur?
Nope.
Okay. Hanuklu. We're going to move on to the pom-pom, I think. Is that okay, Heather? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I think. Okay, for the pom-poms, I make my circle size I want. The bigger the circle, then the bigger the pom-pom will be. And if you make it smaller, then it's gonna be smaller. So when I'm making very thick fur like blue fox, which is usually kind of a dense fur, I make it my regular, or this is my regular size. And if it's more less dense like silver fox, sometimes I make it a little bit bigger than this. I make my pattern with the thick paper. This one I cut from my cookies. You can use anything to make, huh?
I said quarantine snacks.
Yes, I gotta get more.
So Victoria, your circles for the blue fox, is that about maybe 2 inches or 2.5 inches?
For this one is, I'm gonna measure it. It's about 2.5 inches wide.
Okay, thank you.
Around. Yeah.
And you're saying the silver fox, because it's not as dense, the circle should be bigger?
I do it sometimes bigger, but
okay.
the silver fox has very long hair, so you gotta also consider that part.
Yeah, okay.
So I already made my circle, so I'm going to make for this one, because she wanted pom-poms for her parka, which is she won't be able to use it anymore, because once the quarantine is done, she will get it, and then it's gonna be summer. Anyway, I just cut my fur with the the pattern I made for the pom-pom, the circle one. My pen is not working. Oh, I have another one. I'm going to do one just so that you who knows how to do this and who doesn't know how to do it.
I've made pom-pom earrings, but
okay.
I haven't attached any to any parkas yet.
Okay.
I've made pom-poms but haven't attached to strings.
Okay. So you know the concept of making it though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You have advice on cutting? I find, I have my pen line, but especially with curves, and maybe it doesn't matter for pom-poms, but to make nice cuts that, you stay on the proper side of the ink and don't go off and have ragged edges. Maybe it doesn't matter on pom-poms.
Nah, I try to not have too much raggedy when I'm making the pom-poms. Because I don't know. So I cut my fur. Cut. I'm going to attach it to the parka. Nope. This one.
What part of the fox pelt are you using for the pom-poms? Are you using the part that's closer to the belly, that's kind of like the cut off from the fur? It's the hood fur?
I usually use the you can see, like this one was like a part where the not from the center part but the leftover.
Okay, so the cast offs. Okay.
I try to use the one that some parts of the fur has less hair. I try to save the ones that have more hair for pom-poms. hanuklo. So, sorry. I'm going to sew it all around my fur to make the pom-poms.
Can you bring us in closer?
Yeah.
See what you're doing?
Taking off something here. So this is my pom-pom, the circle one. And then I'm gonna sew it right on the edge all around. I use a leather needle, clover needle. And I just sew it like straight stitch all around, hand stitch it. This is not good, sorry. I have to change my, I don't like the, thread I'm using. I'm gonna change to my, sorry.
Would you do the same technique with any kind of fur that had kind of the same look, or would it be different if it was like something else?
To make the pom-pom?
Yeah.
I use the same technique for the other ones.
Okay. And someone's asking, what kind of thread are you using?
I'm using black. I'm not supposed to use that.
For us,
I'm not supposed to use it on my white fur, but this is my fur. It's, what do you call it? This one is nylon fabric thread. I use it to sew fur or even leather. It's thicker. I should have a white one, but I only have black, so I'm using black on this one. So my stitches are as close as I can all around. I don't make my stitches big. I find this thread is better than the other regular threads to sew the fur because hanok isuak nisak.
Do you like it better than artificial sinew?
I like it better than the regular, or the you know these threads that you use for fabric. I prefer that one for fur because the hanok, it's better for the furs.
Is there like an ideal size for different kinds of fur? Like, how do you know that you're going to get a good hoof? Like, would you do smaller for rabbit and bigger for animals with bigger fur, that kind of thing?
How do I, for the
size, like for how big you make it?
It depends on the size you want. Do you want to make it bigger? Then you make bigger. If you want to make it smaller, if you want to do earrings, then you make it size smaller. So I'm sewing all around the edge of the fur. I don't know if you can you see it? So I go all around until I reach the other end of where I started. I hope this is useful for you guys. You probably know better than me. So I'm almost there, and then we're going to do the attaching to the where we're going to put it. So I reached to the other side of my where I started. So I sewed all around, straight stitch all around. I put a piece of pilon. I cut a piece of it to put it inside so that there'll be something inside. Something that I think will fit. Maybe about this much for the size I'm making. I put it inside.
Can you show us a little close up before you?
Okay. I should have used my phone maybe, eh?
It's a good question.
I don't know. So, I don't see it so well.
Oh yeah, there we can see.
Okay, good. So it goes all around inside. Push it in, then don't close it yet the whole way, okay? Because we're gonna attach this fur pom-pom to the edge of my the string for the parka. So what I do is I put that in and I put a stitch on it to go inside. I'm going to make a knot so that I can make a stitch in there.
Is this just a decorative pom-pom? Like, are the strings attached, or do they actually make the hood tight?
You mean the no? This is my hood string.
Okay, but is it just decorative, or does it actually draw the hood tighter?
Well, it can be decorative. It's pretty colorful, but it's useful. You can when you're in wind or
it is a drawstring.
Yeah, drawstring. You can close it. You can tighten it. So on the edge of my string, I made a knot so I can stitch it through, stitch my needle through. Before I close it, I put it inside. I hope you're following. Are you, Heather?
I'm following.
Okay. You put it inside the edge where you made the stitch, and then I sew it through to the other side of the fur, and oops, what did I do? Wait.
Someone's asking what your what brand of sewing machine you have to sew fur.
I have 3 kinds. I have industrial. It's a Singer, and I have a fur machine, industrial, and I have an overlock machine for my edges, and then I have a home machine that I also use. It's also a Singer. I've had it for like over 20 years, and it never breaks on me. I love it. Some people prefer Pfaff and the other ones for their home machines, but I love my Singer. So I'm trying to finish this story. Any other questions, Heather?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm coughing. It's not COVID. Allergies, just so we're clear.
How long would you say that you let the drawstring dangle down from the hood while it's not pulled taut, like super tight, like around the face? How long do you like to let it dangle down?
Well, I measure, yeah. So when it's dangling from the hood, mine is, I like it the length of, I like this length. So this one is about 34 centimeters down from the edge of the parka.
The chin? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying, anything else? So right, it's closed. And
So,
when I close it, like on the thread is on the bottom here, I pull it and then I make a knot here.
Did you go through the bottom of the pom-pom to finish
Yeah.
it? Oh, okay.
I do.
so to be clear, we're going to go all the way around the edge, and you're going to then stuff it with the pilon or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you're going to draw it and then stick the end of the drawstring down there. Then you're going to sew through the drawstring, and then you're going to sew it down at the bottom, like poke it through.
Yes.
So that dangle, and then tie the knot at the end. Is that right?
You're the best teacher. Thank you for making my life easier.
She's a friend of mine. She's very, very anal.
Okay, I'm just going to say something.
But she's an excellent seamstress.
That quilt that's right behind your head now, Trudy, you can just give that right back to me. I made that, but I can take that right back. Just saying.
I'll cough on you.
Where are you from?
Me?
You want to work for me? I'm kidding.
That's so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in, it's got to be 10 years.
Yeah, I do quilting and sewing. I like it. So anyway, this is cool. I like this. Thank you.
So my pom-pom is finished. I made a knot. I'm just going to make another one just to make it a little bit more secure.
Are there any furs that you would not recommend for pom-poms? Could you do it with caribou or reindeer?
If it's not too hard, like if it's like really I don't know, if it's if the caribou has been, well, as long as you make it a little softer, you know, if it's not stiff. I don't like doing stiff fur. Like the one that are how do you call it? Tanned at home, homemade. They're tougher. You just have to make it softer, I guess.
Could you make a pom-pom out of sealskin?
Have I ever done it?
Circle here, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's a bit thick, eh?
Well, it's a little circle. It's for something else.
And I don't think I've ever tried sealskin, actually. Did anybody ever done it? Sealskin?
An animal where the fur grows like straight down instead of kind of puffy might come out funny. Has anyone ever made one?
I have a little tiny one when I was trying to teach myself how to make pom-poms, but I had to use the, you know, the soft, commercially tanned sealskin from like Greenland, and it was the cutest little pom-pom ever. But so it is possible if it's soft enough, just like she said about the caribou.
Yeah. I don't think I would do it with the hard skin.
Yeah, that
has to be soft.
Really good.
Hanoklo, any more questions or comments? Or
someone asked if you would do it with bear or beaver. Oh, bear works. Beaver. Could you do it with beaver?
Yeah, I guess.
Why not?
Yeah.
Pretty fuzzy.
I've never really done work with beaver, so probably, yeah.
Someone's asking, so you just pulled the straight stitch together and gathered it until it made like until the hole closed, basically, right?
Yeah, I close it. I tie as tight as I can with the string, and then I sew it through the fur.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I made a knot.
Yeah.
And the knot is not showing, so it's.
And you put some of that pellet inside that pom-pom, right?
Yes, I did.
You just solved a great mystery to me. I couldn't figure out how to attach a pom-pom to my coat. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad I let somebody learn. So,
any last questions? Lots of people are thanking you on the thread. So if that's it, that was a perfect hour, a little bit with the technical difficulties. So
yeah,
I asked a question.
Yeah.
What, do you think that, Victoria, that Wolverine be cut the same way as you showed us with the sealskin for the hood?
I would assume so. Yeah, I would do the same thing. I've never used Wolverine before, actually.
Okay, well, I'll give it a go. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
How about for a wolf for let's say a hunting parka? Would that also be 15 centimeters in width?
The width, I usually make my width about 9 centimeters for women, maybe a little bit less for men. But wolf, you mean wolf skin fur?
Yeah, wolf skin.
I would do it the same way. I've never worked with wolf before. I only use fox fur. Just because I don't have any fur either. I mean, wolf. Yeah.
Okay, everyone in the comments is saying nakumi to you, Victoria. This has been really awesome. I want to remind everyone that there are lots more workshops. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Heather Iglulukti. I'm from Nunatsiavut, now living in Montreal, and the Inuit Futures Project. It's underway for about a year and a half, but this is a completely new thing that we're doing in response to COVID-19 and everyone needing to stay home. So it's really great. I feel good just after doing the workshop and getting to sit for a while, and something very spellbinding, like mesmerizing about watching someone just do their work. So it's been really relaxing. I hope you all feel more relaxed now too, and inspired to do some new work. Check our website, inuitfutures.ca, to see upcoming workshops. Tomorrow night there's glass etching with Rayanne Brown. So if you've ever seen all those beautiful like wine glasses with kekanite all around them, or like anything you're inspired to do, you can learn that and then order your own materials. So that's tomorrow evening. And there's a bunch of other stuff coming up for next week as well, and a craft circle on Sunday night if you just want to work on your project. So please sign on and tell your friends.
I'd like to join the craft night.
You should. It's Sunday night.
Okay.
Just an hour to work on something. I finished the slippers that I had sitting on my desk for 5 months, probably just waiting for the trim to be done. So it was good for me.
What was the name of the website that you told us to check out again? I'm going to write it down.
Inuit, I'll put it in the comments, but it's inuitfutures.ca.
Inuitfutures.ca. I'm going to write it too, so I can join the
calendars there and all the invitations, and you can follow us on Facebook, Inuit Futures in Arts Leadership.
Is the craft circle Inuit only or for everybody?
Some of the classes are for Inuit only and some are not. So glass etching is for anybody.
But the craft circle on Sundays?
Craft circle's open as well.
Thank you.
Great.
When is the glass etching again?
That is tomorrow night
Okay.
I think
So
it.
registration is closed now, I guess.
No, I think there's a couple of spots left if you go right now. It's tomorrow night. I think it's 5:30 Eastern, 6:30 in because the Rayanne is in Labrador, so she's an hour behind us. I'm not sure. Check the website. That's what I'll say about that. Hey, we've got Upik from Alaska on our call tonight. That's so cool. That's
Wow.
great. Kiana. Amazing. All right, this was great. Thanks, everyone. And if you know anyone who wishes they could watch the video, we're going to post it on the website sometime later this week. It'll also be on that calendar, so you can check it out there.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.